The alpha thought I was prey. He didn't know I was the predator. A story about a woman who walked into a wolf pack's territory looking like easy pickings. Small, human, vulnerable, everything an alpha's instincts are designed to either protect or eliminate. She stumbled into the wrong forest at the wrong time, crossed paths with wolves who thought she was lost, and let them believe exactly what their eyes told them. She played the part beautifully. Trembling hands, wide eyes, the perfect damsel who needed saving. In alpha Kade Thornwood, powerful, lethal, absolutely certain he knew a threat when he saw one, decided she was harmless. He was wrong. Because the girl pretending to be human wasn't human at all. She was the last of the Nightborne bloodline. And Nightborne wolves don't run from alphas. They eat them. Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back. I am so glad you're here, genuinely, deeply glad. Before we dive in, I need to know, where in the world are you right now? Drop your city, your country, wherever you're watching from in the comments, because this community is everywhere and I love seeing where you all are. And how are you doing today? Whatever you're carrying, I hope this story gives you a few hours where you can set it down and just enjoy something wild. Because today's story? It's wild. You ready? If you haven't subscribed yet, do it now. Free. 2 seconds. Hit the bell. The algorithm is weird and I want to make sure the next story finds you. We're building something here together and I want you at every chapter. Okay. Now let me tell you about a woman who let an alpha think he was the most dangerous thing in the forest. And what happened when he figured out he wasn't. Kade Thornwood knew the moment she crossed into his territory. The border alarms didn't go off, she was human, or appeared to be, and the wards were calibrated for wolf energy. But he felt it anyway, the particular awareness that came from 10 years of leading the Thornwood pack. Someone was in his forest who shouldn't be. He shifted and ran. The Thornwood territory was dense, old-growth forest in the northern mountains, the kind of place where humans didn't wander unless they were very lost or very stupid. The pack maintained the isolation deliberately. Fewer humans meant fewer complications, fewer questions, fewer incidents that required cleanup. He found her 20 minutes into his run, stumbling through underbrush near the western ridge. She was small. That was his first thought. Maybe 5'4", slim build, wearing jeans and a jacket that had seen better days. Dark hair pulled back in a ponytail. No hiking gear. No map. No weapon that he could see. She looked up when she heard him approach. Her eyes went wide. Fear, he catalogued automatically. The natural human response to encountering a wolf the size of a small car in the middle of the forest. She took 3 steps back. Stumbled over a root. Caught herself on a tree. Please, she said. Her voice was shaking. Please don't hurt me. I'm lost. I didn't mean to be here. I was hiking and I got turned around and... Kade shifted back to human. He kept his distance, stayed non-threatening. You're in private territory, he said. His voice came out rougher than he intended. He'd been running for 20 minutes and shifting always left him slightly breathless. How did you get here? I don't know, she said. Still backing away from him. Still looking at him like he was the most dangerous thing she'd ever seen. I was on the marked trail and then I wasn't and I've been walking for hours trying to find my way back. Kade assessed her. She was telling the truth, or believed she was. Humans got lost in these mountains regularly. Usually they turned back when the trail ended. Sometimes they kept going and ended up in wolf territory. This wasn't the first time he'd had to escort a lost human back to civilization. It was, however, the first time the lost human had been this attractive. He pushed that thought aside. Not relevant. Not appropriate. She was human, she was lost, and she was his responsibility until he got her safely off pack lands. You're about 15 miles from the nearest road, he said. It's going to be dark in 2 hours. Do you have a phone? Anyone expecting you? She shook her head. My phone died. No one knows I'm here. I came up for the day. I was supposed to be back by now, but, she looked around at the darkening forest. I don't even know which direction to go. Kade made a decision. I'll take you to the road. We need to move fast. Can you keep up? I'll try, she said. She was lying. He didn't know how he knew that. The word sounded sincere. Her body language read as genuine fear. But something in his wolf's instinct said, this woman is lying to you. He ignored it. His wolf was paranoid. Years of territory defense had made it suspicious of everything. Stay close, he said. And try not to fall. I'm not carrying you. Noted, she said. She followed him through the forest at a pace that was just barely not struggling. She kept up, but it was clearly an effort. She was breathing hard within 20 minutes. She stumbled twice, caught herself both times, and didn't complain. Kade found himself moderating his pace to accommodate her. Which was unusual. He didn't usually coddle humans. They made it 3 miles before full dark hit. We need to stop, Kade said. It's not safe to navigate this terrain in the dark if you can't see. I can keep going, she said. But her voice was tired. No, Kade said. There's a shelter half a mile north. We'll stop there for the night, continue at dawn. The shelter was a small cabin the pack maintained for border patrol, basic, functional, 1 room with a fireplace and emergency supplies. Kade got the fire going while the woman, she still hadn't told him her name, sat on the single chair and watched him with those wide, dark eyes. What's your name? He asked. Nyla, she said. Nyla, he repeated. I'm Kade. Alpha of the Thornwood pack. This is pack territory. You're safe here, but you can't come back. Understood? Understood, Nyla said. Thank you. For helping me. You didn't have to. Yes, I did, Kade said. You're human in wolf territory. If I left you here, you'd die. That's not acceptable. Very noble, Nyla said. There was something in her voice, amusement, maybe? That made him look at her sharply. She met his eyes. Held them longer than humans usually did with alphas. Then looked away, like she'd caught herself doing something she shouldn't. Kade felt his wolf stir. Not in threat. In interest. He pushed that down too. Get some sleep, he said. We leave at dawn. What about you? Nyla asked. I'll keep watch, Kade said. I don't sleep much anyway. That was true. Alphas didn't. Too much responsibility. Too many things that could go wrong. He sat by the fire and watched the human woman curl up in the corner with a blanket from the emergency supplies and tried to figure out why his wolf was so convinced she was dangerous. Nyla Corvain was not human. She was 26 years old, she was the last surviving member of the Nightborne bloodline, and she had been hunting the Thornwood pack for 3 months. The Nightborne line was old. Older than most of the established packs. Older than the territorial divisions that governed modern wolf politics. The Nightborne had been apex predators when other wolves were still learning to form packs, and they'd carried that legacy in their blood for 1,000 years. They were also, as of 6 months ago, extinct. Except for Nyla. The massacre had been efficient. Coordinated. 17 Nightborne wolves dead in a single night, killed by a coalition of smaller packs who decided that the Nightborne line had too much power, too much influence, too much of a claim to territories that the coalition wanted. The Thornwood pack had been part of that coalition. Nyla had survived because she'd been away from the family estate on a hunting trip, tracking a rogue wolf through neutral territory. She'd come home to find her entire family dead, her home burned, and a message carved into the front gate, "This is what happens to predators who forget their place." She'd spent 3 months tracking the coalition. Learning their names. Identifying their territories. Planning. The Thornwood pack was first on her list because their alpha, Kade Thornwood, had been the one to propose the attack in the coalition's planning meetings. She knew this because she'd spent 6 weeks infiltrating the Coalition's communication networks, reading their messages, learning exactly who had done what. Kade Thornwood had killed her brother personally. She'd seen it in the autopsy report. The kill style. The precision. An alpha's signature, unmistakable. So when she'd accidentally wandered into Thornwood territory looking lost and human, it had been entirely deliberate. She'd disabled her wolf scent with a suppressant that the Nightborne had developed centuries ago, difficult to make, impossible to detect, and walked into Kade Thornwood's territory with exactly the appearance she wanted to project. Small. Vulnerable. Harmless. She'd expected him to either kill her as a trespasser or escort her out. She hadn't expected him to be protective. That was interesting. She watched him through half-closed eyes as he sat by the fire, his back to the wall, clearly intending to stay awake all night to make sure she was safe. He was larger than she'd expected from the intelligence she'd gathered. Broader. The kind of build that came from actual combat, not ceremonial training. His hair was dark, tied back. His eyes were amber, alpha gold, the mark of a bloodline that had held power for generations. He'd killed her brother. She was going to kill him. Just, not tonight. Tonight, she needed information. She needed to understand the Thornwood Pack's internal structure, their defenses, their weaknesses. She needed to know how many wolves were loyal to Kade, who would fight if she made a move, and who might fracture if their alpha fell. She needed him to trust her first. So she played the role. The grateful human. The damsel he'd saved. The woman who looked at him with wide eyes and believed he was the most dangerous thing in the forest. Let him believe it. The truth would be so much more satisfying when he learned otherwise. They left at dawn. Kade led her through the forest at a pace that was clearly calibrated for human endurance. Nyla kept up easily, too easily, she realized, and had to start adding stumbles and heavy breathing to maintain the illusion. It was harder than she'd expected. Not the physical performance. That was simple. But the proximity to Kade was doing something to her wolf that she hadn't anticipated. Every time he turned to check on her, every time he slowed his pace to accommodate her, every time he offered his hand to help her over rough terrain, her wolf responded. Not with hostility. With interest. Which was a problem. Because her wolf should have been screaming at her to kill him. He'd murdered her brother. He'd participated in the coalition that had destroyed her family. He was the enemy. But her wolf kept doing this thing where it noticed his strength, his competence, the way he moved through the territory like he knew every tree personally. The way he'd stayed awake all night to keep watch. The way he was being careful with her, protective, like she actually mattered. Nyla told her wolf to shut up. They made it to the road by mid-morning. This will take you back to the main highway, Kade said, pointing east. It's about 5 miles. Can you make it? Yes, Nyla said. Thank you. Really? You didn't have to do all this. I did, Kade said. You were in danger. That's not acceptable in my territory. He said it like it was simple. Like protecting random humans was just what alphas did. Nyla looked at him for a moment. At the man who'd killed her brother and was now standing in front of her like a guardian who took his responsibility seriously. Can I ask you something? She said. Sure. Why did you help me? She asked. I'm nobody. I'm just a human who got lost. You could have scared me out of your territory and been done with it. Why go to all this trouble? Kade was quiet for a moment. Because you needed help, he said finally. And I was in a position to give it. That's enough. It wasn't the answer of a monster. It was the answer of someone who actually believed what he was saying. Nyla filed that away. Cognitive dissonance. The man who'd participated in a massacre was also the man who'd spent 12 hours making sure a lost human made it home safe. People were complicated. She'd still kill him. But she'd think about it first. Thank you, she said again. I mean it. You're welcome, Kade said. And Nyla? Yes? Don't come back to this forest, he said. His voice was serious now. Alpha command, the kind that made humans obey without understanding why. It's dangerous. Not just because of wolves. There are things in these mountains that will hurt you. Stay on marked trails. Bring a phone. Don't wander. I won't, Nyla said. She walked down the road toward the highway, felt him watching her until she was out of sight, and then stopped. Shifted. Ran. She had a pack to infiltrate. Nyla spent the next 2 weeks building a cover identity. She rented a cabin in the nearest town to Thornwood territory, a small mountain community called Ridgewood that served as a supply hub for hikers and tourists. She got a job at the local coffee shop. She became a regular at the grocery store. She was polite, friendly, unremarkable. She also started coming to the forest. Not into Thornwood territory. Just near it. She hiked the public trails that bordered pack lands. She learned the terrain. She noted the patrol patterns. She identified weak points in the border security. And she kept the suppressant active, so no wolf could smell what she actually was. She saw Kade 3 more times before the incident. The first time was in Ridgewood itself. He was at the hardware store, buying supplies in quantities that suggested pack maintenance rather than personal use. He was with another wolf, his beta, she assumed, based on the way they interacted. They didn't notice her. She was just another human in the store, background noise. The second time was on one of the public trails. He was running patrol in wolf form, staying just inside pack territory. He saw her, stopped, watched her for a moment. She waved. He shifted to human, came to the border, and said, I thought I told you not to come back. I'm on the public trail, Nyla said pleasantly. This isn't your territory. It borders my territory, Kade said. Then I guess we're neighbors, Nyla said. I moved here. Ridgewood. I'm working at the coffee shop in town. Thought I'd explore the area. Staying on marked trails this time, just like you said. Kade looked at her for a long moment. You moved here. I liked it, Nyla said. The mountains. The quiet. It's peaceful. It's dangerous, Kade said. So you've mentioned, Nyla said. I'll be careful. She could feel him trying to figure her out. Trying to decide if she was reckless, naive, or something else. If you're going to hike these trails, Kade said finally, carry a phone. Tell someone where you're going. Don't go after dark. Yes, Alpha, Nyla said. Teasing him, just slightly. His eyes narrowed. I'm serious. I know you are, Nyla said. It's sweet. The whole protective alpha thing. Very traditional. It's practical, Kade said. People die in these mountains. I'd prefer you not be one of them. Noted, Nyla said. She left him standing at the border and continued her hike, feeling his eyes on her the entire time. The third time was the coffee shop. He came in at 6 in the morning, clearly just off patrol. He ordered coffee, black. Didn't recognize her at first. She was wearing the shop's uniform, her hair was down, she had makeup on that changed her face just enough. Then she said his order and he looked at her. Nyla. Hi, Kade, she said. Coffee? You work here, he said. I did mention that, Nyla said. Hence the uniform and the me making your coffee situation currently happening. Right, Kade said. He was looking at her like he was trying to solve a puzzle. You really moved here. I really did, Nyla confirmed. Cabin on the east side of town. It's small but it has a nice porch. You should see the sunrise from there. She stopped. Sorry. You probably don't care about my porch. I care that you're here, Kade said. Not quite accusatory. Just observing. Is that a problem? Nyla asked. I don't know yet, Kade said. Nyla handed him his coffee. Their fingers brushed. The contact lasted half a second. Her wolf did the thing again. Kade's expression flickered. Like he'd felt something too. "Thanks for the coffee," he said. "Anytime," Nyla said. He left. Nyla watched him go and thought, this is getting complicated. The incident happened 3 weeks after Nyla had moved to Ridgewood. She was hiking one of the trails at sunset, deliberately late, deliberately close to pack territory, deliberately testing how close she could get before someone came to investigate. She'd learned the patrol patterns. She knew Kade ran the western border at this time. She was curious if he'd notice her. What she didn't account for was the rogue. She smelled him before she saw him, a wolf, but not pack. Rogue wolves had a particular scent, unwashed and wrong, the result of living outside pack structure for too long. They went feral eventually. Lost the human side. Became pure animal. This one was close to that edge. She heard him before she saw him. Heavy paws on the trail behind her. Breathing that was too loud, too excited. She turned. The wolf was huge, brown-gray, with eyes that had gone completely to instinct. He was stalking her. Hunting. He saw a human woman alone on a trail at dusk and his predator brain said, "Prey." Nyla could have run. She could have shifted, torn his throat out in 3 seconds, and gone about her day. But she was supposed to be human. And humans ran when they saw predators. So she ran. She didn't have to fake the fear. Rogues were dangerous in ways that pack wolves weren't. They had nothing to lose, no hierarchy to answer to, no alpha to punish them for killing humans. They were the thing that the supernatural world worked very hard to hide from humanity, and if this rogue decided to make Nyla his dinner, there would be very few ways to stop him without revealing what she was. She ran toward pack territory. Not ideal. But better than being eaten by a rogue. She crossed the border at a full sprint, felt the ward tingle against her skin, suppressant held, barely, and kept going. The rogue followed. Rogues didn't care about territorial borders. They were too far gone. She heard a howl behind her. Not the rogue. Pack wolf. Kade. She kept running. Let him think she was terrified human prey fleeing for her life. Sold the performance with everything she had. She made it another 100 yards before Kade's wolf slammed into the rogue from the side. The fight was brutal. Fast. The rogue was large but undisciplined. Kade was smaller but precise. He knew exactly where to strike, how to use his alpha dominance to destabilize the rogue's instincts, how to end it quickly. The rogue went down. Kade stood over the body, breathing hard, blood on his muzzle. Then he turned to Nyla. She was crouched against a tree, eyes wide, playing the traumatized human perfectly. Kade shifted. "Are you hurt?" he asked. His voice was rough. Urgent. "No," Nyla said. Her voice was shaking, not fake this time. Adrenaline did that. He was chasing me and I ran and I'm sorry I crossed into your territory but I didn't know what else to do, Anne." "It's fine," Kade said. He crossed to her, crouched down in front of her. "You did the right thing. Running toward pack territory when a rogue is hunting you is exactly what you should have done. You're safe now." Nyla looked at him. At the blood on his face. At the concern in his eyes. "You killed it," she said. "Yes," Kade said. "I did. It was a rogue. It would have killed you. That's not acceptable." "You keep saying that," Nyla said. "That things aren't acceptable. Like you're personally responsible for every bad thing that happens in a 50-mile radius." "I am," Kade said. Simply. Like it was obvious. "I'm the alpha. This territory is mine. Everything that happens here is my responsibility. That includes you." "I'm not pack," Nyla said. "You're in my territory," Kade said. "That makes you mine to protect." The possessiveness in the word mine did something to Nyla's wolf that she absolutely did not have time to examine. You're bleeding, she said instead. Rogue got a hit in, Kade said. It's superficial. Let me see, Nyla said. She reached for him before thinking it through. Touched his shoulder, turned him slightly to see the claw marks along his ribs. They were deep. Not superficial. This needs stitches, Nyla said. It'll heal, Kade said. I'm a wolf. I heal fast. Not if it gets infected, Nyla said. Do you have a medical kit somewhere? There's a shelter nearby, Kade said. But. Then we're going there, Nyla said. And I'm cleaning that wound before it becomes a problem. Don't argue with me. You just saved my life. Let me help. Kade looked at her for a moment. Then nodded. They went to the shelter. Nyla had stitched up wounds before. The Nightborne trained their heirs in field medicine alongside combat training. You needed to know how to keep yourself alive if you were fighting alone. She'd never stitched up someone who just saved her life while she was pretending to be someone else entirely. Kade sat on the cabin's single chair, shirtless, while Nyla worked on the claw marks. They were deep but clean. The rogue had been going for a kill strike and missed. You were lucky, Nyla said. I was fast, Kade corrected. Luck has nothing to do with it. Still, Nyla said. She was trying very hard not to notice that Kade was built like someone who trained for combat regularly and had excellent genetics. This could have been bad. It wasn't, Kade said. You're safe. That's what matters. Nyla focused on the stitches. Tried not to think about the fact that this man had killed her brother. Tried not to think about the way he was looking at her. Tried not to think about how her wolf was responding to his proximity. Why do you keep doing this? She asked. Doing what? Saving me, Nyla said. Protecting me. I'm nobody. I'm just a human who happens to live near your territory. You don't owe me anything. I don't help people because I owe them, Kade said. I help people because they need help. That's a very idealistic worldview for an alpha, Nyla said. Is it? Kade asked. I thought it was just basic decency. Nyla tied off the last stitch. Stepped back. Done. Try not to shift for a few hours or you'll rip them out. Noted, Kade said. He was still looking at her. Nyla. Yes? Why did you really move here? He asked. The question hit her like cold water. I told you, Nyla said carefully. I liked the mountains. The quiet. That's not the whole truth, Kade said. I can tell when people are lying. You've been lying since the first moment I met you. Nyla went very still. I haven't. You have, Kade said. Not about everything. But about something. I don't know what yet. But I'm going to figure it out. They looked at each other in the firelight. Nyla could kill him right now. She was close enough. He was injured. She had the advantage. But she didn't move. I'm not a threat to your pack, she said instead. Which was not technically a lie. She was a threat to him specifically, not the pack. Precision mattered. I didn't say you were a threat, Kade said. I said you were lying. Those are different things. Why does it matter? Nyla asked. Because I don't know if I need to protect you from yourself, Kade said. Or if I need to protect my pack from you. What if I said neither? Nyla said. Then I'd call you a liar again, Kade said. The tension in the room was thick enough to cut. I should go, Nyla said. Not yet, Kade said. It's dark. There could be more rogues. I'll escort you back to town. I don't need an escort, Nyla said. Yes you do, Kade said. He stood, grabbed his shirt from where he'd discarded it. You just got chased by a rogue wolf. You're shaking. You're in shock. I'm not letting you walk back to Ridgewood alone. He was right that she was shaking. Wrong about why. Fine, Nyla said. Escort me. They walked back to Ridgewood in silence. Kade stayed in human form despite the injury, stayed between her and the forest, stayed alert. When they reached her cabin, he stopped at the porch. "Lock your doors tonight," he said. "I always do," Nyla said. "And Nyla?" "Yes?" "Whatever you're hiding," Kade said quietly, "I will figure it out eventually. Alphas always do." He left before she could respond. Nyla went inside, locked the door, and sat on her couch in the dark for a very long time. This had been a mistake. Getting close to him. Letting him protect her. Letting her wolf respond to him like he was something other than the enemy. She needed to end this. Tomorrow, she decided. Tomorrow she'd make her move. Kill Kade Thornwood. Avenge her family. Move on to the next pack in the coalition. Tomorrow. Tonight, she was going to sit in the dark and try to figure out why the thought of killing him felt wrong. Tomorrow came and Nyla didn't kill him. She told herself she needed more information. Better positioning. A cleaner opportunity. The truth was simpler and more complicated, she wasn't ready. Not because she couldn't do it. She absolutely could. But because something had shifted and she needed to understand what before she made an irreversible choice. She kept going to the coffee shop. Kept hiking the trails. Kept existing in Kade's orbit while maintaining the human disguise. And Kade kept watching her. Not obviously. But she could feel it. The weight of his attention when he came in for coffee. The way he always seemed to be nearby when she was hiking. The way he'd positioned pack patrols to cover the public trails more frequently. He was protecting her. It should have made her angry. Instead it made her something else. 3 weeks after the rogue incident, Kade showed up at her cabin at midnight. Nyla heard him coming, wolf hearing worked even with the suppressant, and opened the door before he could knock. "It's midnight," she said. "I know," Kade said. He looked tense. "We need to talk." "About?" "About what you are," Kade said. Nyla's blood went cold. "I'm human." "No you're not," Kade said. He wasn't angry. He was absolutely certain. "I've been watching you for a month. You don't move like a human. You don't react like a human. When that rogue chased you, you ran faster than any human could run. When you stitched up my wound, you knew exactly what you were doing in a way that suggested combat medical training, not basic first aid." "I took a wilderness medicine course," Nyla said. "Bullshit," Kade said. "And the suppressant you're using is good. Excellent, actually. I've never encountered one that effective. But it's not perfect. When I got close to you in the cabin, when you were focused on the stitches, it slipped for half a second. I caught your scent." Nyla said nothing. "You're a wolf," Kade said. "And not just any wolf. Your scent, when I caught it, it was old. Ancient. The kind of bloodline that doesn't exist anymore." "If it doesn't exist anymore," Nyla said carefully, "then you're wrong." "Am I?" Kade asked. "Then show me. Prove you're human. Let me see you try to shift. If you're human, nothing will happen." "I'm not doing a parlor trick for you," Nyla said. "Then tell me the truth," Kade said. "What are you doing here? Why are you pretending to be human? What do you want with my pack?" Nyla looked at him. At the alpha who'd saved her life 3 times without knowing who she was. At the man who'd killed her brother. She made a choice. "Come inside," she said. "If you want the truth, I'll give it to you. But not on my porch where anyone could hear." Kade followed her in. Stood in her small living room, arms crossed, waiting. Nyla let the suppressant drop. The change in the room was immediate. Her scent hit the air, wolf, yes, but not modern wolf. Something older. Richer. The kind of scent that triggered instinct in other wolves, that made them recognize predator. Kade's wolf responded instantly. She saw him tense, saw the alpha rise in his eyes, saw him fight to keep control. "Nightborne," he said. You're Nightborne. Yes, Nyla said. That line is extinct. It was, Nyla said. 6 months ago. 17 wolves dead in a single night. Killed by a coalition of packs who decided we were too dangerous to exist. Understanding moved across Kade's face. Then something that looked like horror. The Nightborne massacre, he said. That was real. Very real, Nyla said. I'm the last one. The only one who survived. And I've spent 6 months tracking the packs responsible. And you're here because, Kade stopped. The Thornwood pack was part of the coalition. Bingo, Nyla said. You proposed the attack. You were there when it happened. And you, her voice cracked despite her best efforts. You killed my brother. Kade went very still. Darius. You remember his name, Nyla said. How nice. I remember because he fought like nothing I'd ever seen, Kade said. He took down 3 wolves before he stopped. I'm sorry. I know that doesn't mean anything. But I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't bring him back, Nyla said. No, Kade said. It doesn't. But Nyla, the coalition was sold a lie. What? We were told the Nightborne were planning an attack, Kade said. A full assault on 3-pack territories, designed to reclaim ancestral lands. We were told there was evidence, communications, weapons caches, strategic plans. We were told that if we didn't move first, hundreds of wolves would die. Nyla stared at him. That's insane. We weren't planning anything. We kept to ourselves. We didn't participate in modern pack politics. We didn't want, she stopped. Show me the evidence. I don't have it, Kade said. It was handled by the coalition's lead coordinator. A wolf named Marcus Vane. He presented the intel, we verified what we could, and then, he looked at her. Then we acted. Who verified it? Nyla demanded. I did, Kade said. With my own eyes. Photographs of weapon shipments. Transcripts of communications. Maps showing attack plans. He paused. If it was fake, it was the best fake I've ever seen. It was fake, Nyla said. We didn't have weapons caches. We didn't have attack plans. We were just trying to live. I know that now, Kade said quietly. I've spent the last 6 months trying to figure out how I got it so wrong. I've gone back to the evidence. Some of it doesn't exist anymore. Some of it, he looked at her. Someone set us up. Made the Nightborne look like a threat, made sure the coalition would act, and then disappeared. Marcus Vane, Nyla said. Yes, Kade said. I've been trying to find him. He's gone. Completely. Like he never existed. Nyla sat down. This was not the conversation she'd expected to have. Why would someone do that? I don't know, Kade said. But I intend to find out. Even if it means admitting you were wrong? Nyla asked. Even if it means your pack participated in a massacre based on false intelligence? Especially then, Kade said. I was wrong. My pack was wrong. We killed 17 wolves who didn't deserve to die, and if I can't make that right, I can at least make sure whoever orchestrated it pays. Nyla looked at him. At the alpha who'd been genuinely horrified to learn the truth. At the man who'd just found out the wolf he'd been protecting was the last survivor of the line he'd helped destroy. You're not going to try to kill me, she said. Not a question. No, Kade said. You have every right to want me dead. I'm not going to fight you if that's what you choose. But I'd prefer you didn't. Because I think we can help each other. How? You want justice for your family, Kade said. I want to know who manipulated me into becoming a murderer. Those goals align. Help me find Marcus Vane. Help me expose what really happened. And when we do, when the truth is out, then decide if you still want to kill me. Nyla was quiet for a long time. I came here to kill you, she said. I've spent 3 months planning it. Learning your patterns. Finding your weaknesses. I was going to make it look like a rogue attack. Let your pack mourn you. Move on to the next coalition member. I know, Kade said. You knew? My wolf knew, Kade said. From the first moment. It kept telling me you were dangerous. I thought it was paranoid. Turns out it was right. He paused. But here's the thing. My wolf also told me something else. What? That you're my mate, Kade said. The silence in the room was absolute. That's not possible, Nyla said. I know, Kade said. I don't want it any more than you do. I killed your brother. You came here to kill me. This is possibly the worst mate pairing in the history of wolf bonds. But my wolf doesn't care about logistics. It knows what it knows. Nyla's wolf was screaming at her. Not in warning. In recognition. He was right. The bond was there. Had been there since she'd first touched him to stitch his wound. She'd been ignoring it. Pushing it down. Telling herself it was adrenaline, proximity, anything but what it actually was. I can't be your mate, Nyla said. You killed Darius. I know, Kade said. And I'll spend the rest of my life trying to atone for that. But the bond doesn't care. It's there regardless. We can ignore it. We can reject it. But we can't make it not exist. Nyla stood up. Paced. This is insane. Yes, Kade agreed. I hate you, Nyla said. I know, Kade said. I want to rip your throat out, Nyla said. Noted, Kade said. But Nyla? What? You could have killed me 12 times, Kade said. In the forest. In the cabin. Tonight, when you dropped the suppressant and I was unprepared. You didn't. Not because you couldn't. Because you chose not to. He paused. So maybe you don't hate me quite as much as you think you do. Or maybe I'm just waiting for the right moment, Nyla said. Maybe, Kade said. But I don't think so. He was right and she hated it. What do you want from me? Nyla asked. Help me find Marcus Vane, Kade said. Help me expose the truth. And after that, after we've done everything we can to make this right, decide what you want to do about the bond. And if I decide I still want to kill you? Nyla asked. Then I won't stop you, Kade said. But I'd appreciate it if you'd wait until we've finished the investigation first. Nyla laughed. She couldn't help it. It was absurd. The whole situation was absurd. You're asking a Nightborne, the last Nightborne, to work with the Alpha who killed her brother to track down the mastermind behind a false flag operation that destroyed her family. And you're doing it while claiming we're mates. Yes, Kade said. I realize it's a lot. It's insane, Nyla said. So is rejecting a mate bond, Kade said. But we can do that too if you want. I just thought we could be productively insane instead of destructively insane. Nyla looked at him. Really looked at him. At the Alpha who'd saved her life 3 times. At the man who'd killed her brother. At the mate bond that was pulling at her chest like a physical tether. Fine, she said. We work together. We find Marcus Vane. We expose the truth. And after that, we figure out what to do about, she gestured between them. This. Deal, Kade said. He offered his hand. Nyla took it. The bond flared. Bright. Warm. Inevitable. For the record, Nyla said, I still reserve the right to kill you later. Noted, Kade said. But Nyla? Yes? The fact that you're telling me instead of just doing it suggests you're not as committed to that plan as you think you are. Shut up, Nyla said. Kade smiled. Actually smiled. Make me. And Nyla, despite everything, despite the grief and the rage and the impossibility of what was happening, almost laughed. This was going to be complicated. They spent the next 2 months hunting Marcus Vane. Kade shared everything the coalition had: communications, meeting notes, the original intelligence that had justified the Nightborne attack. Nyla applied Nightborne analysis methods. Her family had been experts at identifying false intelligence, a survival skill developed over centuries of navigating pack politics. Half of Vane's evidence was fabricated. The other half was real intelligence that had been misattributed. Someone had taken genuine Nightborne activities, trade negotiations, territorial surveys, legal weapons purchases for ceremonial hunts, and reframed them to look like preparation for war. It was brilliant, thorough, and designed to be believed. Whoever did this knew exactly how to manipulate pack alphas, Nyla said, reviewing the communications one evening in Kade's office. She'd moved into pack territory 2 weeks ago, officially as a consultant helping investigate the coalition. Unofficially as, well, they were still figuring that out. They knew our weaknesses, Kade agreed. Fear of being attacked. The desire to be proactive rather than defensive. The tendency to believe threat intelligence from trusted sources. Who was Marcus Vane? Nyla asked. Before the coalition? Unknown, Kade said. He appeared 6 months before the attack. Had credentials, references, a whole background that checked out. And then he disappeared the night after the massacre. So he was a plant, Nyla said. Someone created specifically to orchestrate this. Yes, Kade said. But who created him? And why target the Nightborne specifically? That was the question that kept Nyla up at night. The Nightborne hadn't been involved in modern pack politics. They'd kept to themselves, maintained neutrality, refused to take sides in territorial disputes. They should have been the last line anyone would target. Unless someone needed them gone specifically because they were neutral. What if it wasn't about us? Nyla said slowly. What if we were collateral damage? Explain, Kade said. The Nightborne line held something that no one else did, Nyla said. Treaties. Old ones. Before modern pack divisions existed, the Nightborne mediated disputes. We held copies of every major territorial agreement from the last 500 years. And those treaties would have been in your family estate, Kade said, understanding dawning. Which burned to the ground the night of the massacre, Nyla said. Along with every treaty, every agreement, every piece of documentation that proved who owned what and when. So whoever did this didn't want the Nightborne dead, Kade said. They wanted the treaties destroyed. And the easiest way to destroy them was to make sure the Nightborne line ended, Nyla said. No survivors, no heirs, no one to contest what happens next. What happens next? Kade asked. Territorial disputes, Nyla said. Without the old treaties, every border is negotiable. Every historical claim is unverifiable. It's a power vacuum. Kade went very still. The Western Territories. What about them? There's been unusual activity, Kade said. 3 packs have challenged historical borders in the last 4 months. Each time, the dispute can't be resolved because the original treaties are gone. The claims are defaulting to the strongest pack. Who's winning the disputes? Nyla asked. Kade pulled up a map. Marked 3 territories. These packs. Ironwood, Shadowcrest, and Black River. All of them are expanding. All of them are claiming historical rights to land that used to be neutral ground. And all of them, Nyla said, looking at the map, are controlled by related families. The Vane bloodline, Kade said. Marcus Vane is probably a cousin or distant relative. They created him, used him to orchestrate the Nightborne massacre, and then moved him out before anyone could connect him to them. So the Vane family destroys the treaties, eliminates the Nightborne line that could contest them, and then uses the chaos to expand their territory, Nyla said. That's brilliant, Kade said grimly. Evil, but brilliant. We need proof, Nyla said. We need to find Marcus Vane, Kade said. He's the connection. If we can find him, we can trace him back to his family. And if we can prove the connection, we can expose the whole operation, Nyla finished. They looked at each other across the office desk. This is bigger than I thought, Nyla said. Yes, Kate agreed. This isn't just about avenging your family. This is about stopping the Vane family from rewriting the entire Western Territory's power structure. Good, Nyla said. I was hoping it would be complicated. Simple revenge is boring. Kate smiled. You're terrifying, you know that? I'm Nightborne, Nyla said. We're supposed to be terrifying. That's why you killed us all. The humor in the room evaporated. I'm sorry, Kate said. I know I've said it before. I know it doesn't fix anything. But I'm sorry. I know you are, Nyla said. And she meant it. She could feel his guilt through the bond. It was constant, heavy. The weight of 17 deaths he hadn't meant to cause but had caused anyway. Do you think you'll ever forgive me? Kate asked. I don't know, Nyla said honestly. I'm still trying to reconcile the man who killed my brother with the man who sat up all night to make sure a lost human was safe. She paused. You're not who I thought you'd be. Neither are you, Kate said. I thought the last Nightborne would be a monster. Someone consumed by revenge. Someone who'd burn the world down to make a point. I still might, Nyla said. We're not done yet. Fair, Kate said. But for the record, I don't think you're a monster. What do you think I am? Nyla asked. Kate looked at her for a long moment. I think you're the most dangerous woman I've ever met. And I think I'm falling in love with you. And I think those two facts are going to make my life very complicated. The bond flared at his words. Bright and warm and entirely too pleased with itself. That's the bond talking, Nyla said. Maybe, Kate said. Or maybe the bond is just making explicit what I've been feeling since I found you in my forest looking like prey and moving like a predator. I was prey, Nyla said. Just not the kind you thought. No, Kate agreed. You were the kind that eats alphas for breakfast. And yet you're still here, Nyla said. And yet I'm still here, Kate confirmed. They looked at each other in the lamplight of the office. We should focus on finding Vane, Nyla said. We should, Kate agreed. But he didn't look away. Kate. Yes? If we do this, if we track down Vane, expose the conspiracy, take down the Vane family, what happens after? After? After the mission is done, Nyla said. After we've done everything we set out to do. What happens to, she gestured between them. This. I don't know, Kate said. What do you want to happen? I don't know either, Nyla admitted. 3 months ago I wanted you dead. Now she stopped. Now I don't know what I want. That's progress, Kate said. 3 months ago you wanted me dead immediately. Now you're undecided. I'll take it. Nyla laughed despite herself. You're ridiculous. I'm optimistic, Kate corrected. There's a difference. Is there? Yes, Kate said. Ridiculous is thinking a Nightborne and the Alpha who killed her brother could ever work. Optimistic is thinking we might be the exception. And which one are you? Nyla asked. Both, Kate said. I'm ridiculously optimistic. It's one of my worst qualities. I'm noticing, Nyla said. The bond between them was a living thing now. Present. Undeniable. Growing stronger every day they spent together. Nyla wasn't sure if she wanted to fight it or surrender to it. She suspected she didn't actually have a choice. They found Marcus Vane 3 months later in a neutral territory called Ashwood. He was living under a different name, working as a territorial mediator, completely confident that no one would connect him to the Nightborne massacre. He was wrong. Nyla and Kate cornered him in a hotel room at 2 in the morning. Hello, Marcus, Kate said. Or should I say Adrian? Or whatever your real name actually is. Vane, or whoever he was, looked at them with absolute calm. Alpha Thornwood. And, he looked at Nyla. I don't know you. Nyla Corvain, Nyla said. Last of the Nightborne line. The family you orchestrated the destruction of. Ring any bells? Something flickered in Vane's eyes. The Nightborne line is extinct. Almost, Nyla said. I'm what happens when you miss one. And she's very upset about it, Kade added. So I'd suggest you start talking. Who sent you? Who do you work for? And what did you get out of destroying the Nightborne? Vane was quiet for a long moment. Then he smiled. You can't prove anything. Actually we can, Nyla said. She pulled out a folder. We have the fabricated intelligence. We have communications that link you to the Vane family territories. We have testimony from 3 coalition members who are willing to go on record about how you manipulated them. And, she paused. We have DNA evidence that proves you're Edmund Vane's nephew. The same Edmund Vane who's been expanding his territory aggressively since the Nightborne treaties were destroyed. Vane's smile faded. So here's what's going to happen, Kade said. You're going to tell us everything. The planning, the execution, the families involved. Every detail. And in exchange, I won't let Nyla do what she very much wants to do to you. Which is? Vane asked. Rip your throat out, Nyla said pleasantly. I'm Nightborne. We're very good at that. Vane looked between them. Calculating. If I talk, what do I get? Your life, Kade said. And a trial instead of an execution. That's the deal. Vane thought about it. Then nodded. All right. I'll talk. He talked for 3 hours. The conspiracy was bigger than they'd thought. The Vane family had been planning the Nightborne destruction for 2 years. They'd created Marcus Vane's identity specifically for the coalition infiltration. They'd fabricated the intelligence with the help of a rogue wolf who specialized in forgery. They'd timed the massacre to coincide with a period when the Nightborne heir, Nyla, would be away from the estate. We weren't sure it would work, Vane admitted. But it did. 17 Nightborne dead, the treaties destroyed, and no one to contest our territorial claims. It was elegant. It was murder, Nyla said. It was necessary, Vane said. The Nightborne held too much power. The old treaties prevented progress. We did what needed to be done. You did what benefited your family, Kade said. And you manipulated good alphas into becoming murderers for you. They made their own choices, Vane said. I just provided information. False information, Nyla said. Information they believed, Vane corrected. That's all that matters. Nyla wanted to kill him. The urge was overwhelming, immediate, the Nightborne predator demanding blood for blood. Kade's hand found hers. Squeezed. The bond steadied her. We're taking him to the Territorial Council, Kade said. He'll face trial. The Vane family will face consequences. Justice, not revenge. Justice is slow, Nyla said. Justice is permanent, Kade said. Revenge is fast but leaves gaps. We close the gaps. Nyla looked at Vane. At the man who'd orchestrated her family's destruction. At the smug certainty in his face. Then she looked at Kade. At the bond between them. At the choice in front of her. Fast or permanent. Revenge or justice. Predator or something else. Fine, she said. We do it your way. But Kade? Yes? If the council lets him walk, I'm doing it my way. Noted, Kade said. But they won't. Trust me. The Territorial Council trial lasted 2 weeks. Every piece of evidence was presented. Every witness testified. The Vane family's expansion was documented. The fabricated intelligence was exposed. The conspiracy was laid bare for the entire wolf community to see. The verdict was unanimous, guilty on all counts. The Vane family territories were seized. Their alpha status was revoked. Every wolf involved in the conspiracy was exiled from pack lands permanently. Edmund Vane tried to fight it. Hired lawyers. Called in favors. Threatened territorial war. The council didn't care. The evidence was overwhelming. Justice was permanent. Nyla watched it all happen from the gallery, Kade beside her, and felt something in her chest release. Her family was avenged. Not through blood. Through exposure. Through consequences. Through the complete dismantling of the family that had destroyed them. It was better than revenge. It was thorough. After the verdict was read, Kade walked her out of the council chambers. "How do you feel?" he asked. "Strange," Nyla said. "I've spent 9 months focused on this. And now it's done. I don't know what I'm supposed to do next." "You could stay," Kade said. "In Thornwood?" Nyla asked. "In Thornwood. With me. With the pack." He paused. "As my mate. If you want." Nyla looked at him. At the alpha who'd saved her life. At the man who'd killed her brother and then spent 3 months trying to make it right. At the bond that had been pulling at her for months. "I'm still angry," she said. "About Darius. About what happened. That doesn't just go away." "I know," Kade said. "And I don't know if I can fully forgive you," Nyla said. "I know that too," Kade said. "But," Nyla said. And paused. "But I think I want to try. I think, the bond is there. And you're not who I thought you'd be. You're better. And she stopped. "I think I could love you. If I let myself." "Then let yourself," Kade said. "I'll wait as long as it takes. I'll earn it every day. I'll never stop trying to make up for what I did." "But Nyla, let yourself." The bond flared at his words. Bright and warm and full of possibility. "Okay," Nyla said. "I'll stay. I'll try. But Kade?" "Yes? If you ever lie to me again, if you ever manipulate me the way Vane manipulated you, if you ever make me feel like prey instead of an equal, I will end you. Understood?" "Understood," Kade said. "But Nyla?" "What?" "You were never prey," Kade said. "You were always the predator. I just didn't know it yet." Nyla smiled. Actually smiled. "No," she said. "You didn't." She kissed him. The bond settled. Complete. Accepted. And somewhere in the back of her mind, Nyla's wolf, the Nightborne predator that had spent 9 months hunting, finally relaxed. She was home. Beautiful souls. If this story got you, if you felt the moment Kade realized what she was, if you felt the tension of a predator playing prey, if you loved watching her be more dangerous than the alpha who thought he was protecting her, tell me. Drop a comment. Tell me which moment made you go yes. Tell me if you believe that sometimes the most dangerous thing in the forest looks like it needs saving. Your comments are everything. They keep this channel alive. And if you made it all the way here without subscribing, subscribe. Right now. The next story needs to find you. Take care, beautiful souls. Stay dangerous.